Growing up with an accountant father and a hardworking mother, I got a sense for what life was supposed to be, or so I thought. You work, and work some more, and somewhere in there, you have a bit of fun in order not to lose your mind. But when you're an artist and you're constantly being told to get a real job, it's enough to make you wonder if art and creativity are optional or vital. Hi, I'm Monique B. Thomas, and you're listening to episode 24 of Monique on the Mic. Today I'm talking about the very important role that art, specifically music, plays in our lives. Now, obviously, I'm a bit biased because I actually earn a decent living from my art, whether it's singing or teaching singing. But let's look at why art is so important. Art in the form of music accompanies us during important events in our lives. Think about it. There's music for every occasion out there. Music to fall in love to, baby making music, breakup music, wedding music, funeral music, music for meditation and prayer, religious ceremonial music, party music, and music to get you hyped for workouts or sports events. Cue the theme from Rocky. Now close your eyes for just 1 minute and imagine all of those moments without music. It'd be strange, wouldn't it? You probably can't even imagine it, because it truly is unimaginable. If you're like me, you have a certain music that is like the soundtrack of your childhood. For me, it's oldies, Motown, and great 80s soul, R&B, and pop. That's what I grew up listening to. Art in the form of music helps you tell a story, your story. Sometimes a song just says it better, so we might find a song that succinctly expresses how we feel, and we might listen to it over and over and over again, or even send it to someone. I personally find it funny to sing my responses when someone asks me a question. There's literally a song for everything. And if you haven't found just the right lyric, you could always write one. From the beginning of time, African griots and bards, or oral historians, kept track of history through song. And this was a necessary thing because people weren't always reading and writing. These storytellers would go from village to village, putting what we might now call a Hollywood spin on things to make the ordinary a bit more extraordinary, so that people would listen closely and remember what had been told. If the song was catchy enough, they might even retell the story with a few embellishments, because that's what we artists do. We add flavor to things. You know, music truly demonstrates the sign of the times. 200 years from now, people can get a decent idea of what really was going on thanks to music. We can't forget music also can have a more political nature, like music about the civil rights movement in America or about the Vietnam War. If you wanted to know what people's attitudes were about love, sex, and marriage at any given time, all you had to do was listen to the music from that period. The way that love and sex is described in the 30s, 50s, or 70s versus now is quite interesting. But don't be fooled. Some of the lyrics from a long time ago would still have you clutch your pearls today. And if you don't believe me, just check out the blues song from 1924 called Shave 'Em Dry by Lucille Bogan. Attention, this is not a song for children or for the faint at heart. The truth is, not everybody can or should be a doctor or lawyer. The younger generations are painfully aware that getting good grades, going to a great school in order to get a great job, and make it rich is no longer a guarantee. In fact, in many cases, it is no longer even a viable option. Outrageous college debt has totally killed that dream, and now people are looking for other ways to earn a living and enjoy life. What is a real job anyway? Have you ever thought about what people mean when they say that? I think the reality is that when people say get a real job, they unknowingly mean get a job you hate, but that is relatively stable and pays you just enough not to be poor. That doesn't sound exciting to me. And it certainly doesn't sound like something I want to be doing for the next 40 years. For those of us inclined to make music, I think we've always had an inkling that there had to be another way. I know that personally, while I'm smart enough to learn and do many jobs, my personal disposition wouldn't allow me to do any of them for any lengthy period of time. I hate routine, and I don't enjoy being told what to do, so being my own boss is definitely a must. But why does this matter? Well, you make music. You are part of bringing people together. You help people get in touch with their feelings and describe them in a beautiful and unique way. Your music gives hope to the hopeless and even a friend to the friendless. Your carefully crafted notes gives people courage to press on and do incredible things. You tell the stories we don't even know we need to hear. You change people you've never even met and probably will never meet. Yes, we identify deeply with the person or persons singing the songs, and so at times we feel less alone. There are many stories of people deciding not to take their own lives after hearing a particular song. One of the most telling ways, though, that I know that music matters is all of the vocal camps, masterclasses, and workshops that I do around the world. I'm just one little black girl from Philly, but through music, I get to travel the world and get people to do the most impossible things, or seemingly impossible. I'm currently recording this podcast from Tahiti, where I just finished a 7-day gospel camp. I'm about to fly out in a couple hours. There were 85 singers, including Tahitians, French, Americans, Chinese, people from Reunion Island and Madagascar, and so many other places. They all came together to learn gospel. Many of them sang for the first time in their lives, and I got them to sing 3 and 4 part harmony while clapping their hands and moving to the beat. There was no sheet music, and everybody was welcome. They learned 7 songs, and one of the songs was even a medley of 6 traditional gospel songs. The music was hard. I decided not to dumb anything down and just give, kind of like gospel for dummies, but I gave them real traditional gospel music and some modern things that I like to hear today. And it was hard, and they were scared, but the end result was spectacular. We sang the house down in a beautiful church that was packed with roughly 650 people, and I can tell you the spirit, or the mana, as the Tahitians call it, was in that room. Music brought people together from all walks of life, many who live on the same island and never cross each other's paths. Normally, the program is impossible for an amateur group, including at least 20% who've never sung a note before in their life. But music has the power to move people to do that which on paper seems impossible. So yes, creativity, art, music, it matters. Therefore, you matter. For a life without art is like a lifetime of eating boiled chicken, mashed potatoes, and string beans, all unseasoned. Ugh. Art is absolutely not an option. It's vital. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I hope it gives a little bit more meaning to what you are already doing. That's pretty much it. Just for information, this gospel camp has had so much success that I've already been signed on for the next year. So this is going to be year number 3 in 2025. If you're interested in participating and you know you're going to be in French Polynesia the last 2 weeks of April 2025, please contact MAPOM via Facebook. That's MAPOM to get on their waiting list for next year's camp. Who knows? Maybe we'll get to 100 singers. That would be really cool. And we'll get to meet each other if we don't already know each other. I'll put this information in the show notes as usual. Thank you so much for listening, and make sure to continue whatever art you do because you make all the difference in the world. Musically, Monique.